Hey guys, this is a review of a Milwaukee 2726-20 hedge trimmer. I just got this tool and it looks pretty sharp. It works on all the M18 batteries. It has a safety switch on the trigger here to prevent you from accidentally hitting the trigger. So let's see how this works now. So these are some Arborvitaes that I have in the corner of my yard, well away from the house. And this tool really came in handy as far as just not having to drag a cord around. It seems to cut through, this pretty well. Uh, it's a little bit heavier than my electric hedge trimmer that I used to use, but the blades are longer than what I'm used to having. It cuts through with ease. You just have to um, just swing it back and forth, basically. It would have been nice to have some sort of a guard to catch all of the cuttings so that they just wouldn't fall and land in place and confuse you as to what you've cut and what you haven't. But overall, it seems to be pretty good. Cutting pretty nicely here. So this tool claims to be able to cut a branch that's 3/4 of an inch thick. And I was a little bit, not sure if that's going to work. So I had these small little maple trees that were growing that I didn't really want to grow in that specific location there. And so my first clipping here, not quite 3/4, but it cut through pretty easily, as you could see. First shot right through. But when I go down to get the base, which later on you'll see that I actually measure to see what it actually is in diameter, it seems to have, if you take a look here, it's not going through in the first pass, and it's just shaking the heck out of the stem. You just really have to keep on it for a second, and then it'll eventually cut through. So this was one of the, and that's close. That's pretty close to 3/4. And keep in mind, it's a maple as well, so it's not your type of pine or arborvitae, which is a lot softer to go through. So that one took a little bit of time as well. And take a look at that, and that's like, yeah, I'd say almost 3/4 there. Pretty impressive. So let's go measure. So now I have my caliper. And I'm measuring this thing. Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe and like the click the like button, because that really helps out. But this tree, this mini tree that I cut here, is just shy. I'm taking the measurement with the caliper right now, and you'll see when I bring it up, it's a little bit over 1/8 of an inch shy of 3/4. So yeah, if I had an actual 3/4, maybe even larger, it might have gone through. So tool is pretty well balanced. I mean, as you can see, just holding it from there, it's pretty well balanced there. And the only thing is, like, when you want to hit the safety thing, if you were to cut, let's just say some hedges that you have to stand in front of, or something like that, it's a little bit difficult to click on that safety switch portion and then invert the tool to do it. So I've been running this for at least 35, 40 minutes, and there's only like one bar down on the battery. It's a little bit heavy. I mean, if you had to really reach and use one hand, you could only really do it for a short period of time because you get really fatigued. So in reviewing this Milwaukee hedge trimmer, it claims to cut branches that are up to 3/4 of an inch in diameter. I showed you before. I mean, that was like a mini maple tree that I was cutting, and it was just a little shy of 3/4 of an inch. But I'm sure that if you were just cutting something from an arborvitae or something like that, it doesn't cut through right away. But if you sit on it and you get it in between the teeth, it'll eventually cut through. So I'll give it that claim, I guess. Just maybe not as fast as you might like. This one here I can't do anything with because I don't have anything to compare it to. But as far as 2 hours per charge. I mean, I ran this thing for probably 30 minutes, and maybe plus, probably closer to 40 minutes, and only 1 bar went down in these batteries. These batteries, if I have other Milwaukee tools, they last quite a bit of time. Tool is a little heavy, but it beats the heck out of having to deal with fuel or dragging a power cord around. This shield here is a little bit of a pain to come off. I'm hoping that it gets a little bit easier as it comes on and off a few times, but I wanted to actually measure the blade itself for you. This blade is just shy of 24 inches that it claims. Probably, I would say the cutting length is more closer to 22 inches, but it seemed to be fine. I don't really think you need any larger than that. I had it, you're supposed to lubricate it between every time you use it, and if you're cutting things that are full of sap or sappy type of shrubs, it's probably a good idea to do it, because I can see there's a lot of residual stuff on here. So just a little tip for you to do, just run it and spray it with some sort of lubricant, WD-40 or whatever, and that should do the trick there. But yeah, overall, good machine. I would recommend it, definitely.